Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to King's Quest 2015 Reboot Remake. And so I need to put the answer in here. We've done 5 other puzzles, and in these puzzles I'm supposed to figure out which of the cups are the right cups. So for example, here there's 3 cups, so I would assume that's right. And then here there's, let's see, 6 plus 6 is 12 cups. So there's a 12 here. And here there are, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. Again, that doesn't seem right. Does it? 3, 6, 9, 12. Which, again, suppose there's another 12. So there's 2 12s. Here there's 10 cups. And so that would be this. And here there are 4 cups, which would be this. So I think that's the right solution. And sadly, there's like, in looking up this solution, I now know that there's only like 5 more minutes of this game. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get really, really lucky. There'll be a lot of cutscenes, a lot of credits, and the epilogue goes a lot longer than I think. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be very long.
The duel's at a standstill. Neither competitor could prove they were smarter than the other.
Interesting.
I was afraid of this, friend. Although you started out as a lanky bumbleward, over the years my trials have conditioned your wits to equal mine. No matter, I have a backup plan. This flame enchantment will ensure neither of us can leave until the other has perished. How about instead of wits, we engage in a lethal game of chance?
Grandpa had no choice but to play the game. He was trapped and his kingdom was on the line.
I won this set of goblets from a game of wits with Lord Sarwin. One of them holds an irreversible eradicating elixir. A powerful magic that will slowly destroy whatever it touches from the inside out. There are no special markings or any way to puzzle out which is the poison vessel. If there was, I would have slipped it into the batter of your breakfast years ago. But what fun would that have been? We'll each take turns choosing a goblet to drink from until they're all gone, and the better man wins. You'll drink first.
Grandpa was at a loss. For the first time in his life, the 4 E's of puzzle solving could not inform his decision. There was no logic to puzzle out. No clues or hints. Just a simple choice of life or death.
So I don't have any items. I can either pick up this or
Take your time.
this.
There's no strategy here. Just blind luck. Something you've always excelled at.
See, and it would be impossible to play this game up to this point and not have died at least once. And I think that's what this is just getting to.
Don't mind that. Just a simple trinket. Leave that alone. It's just a decorative prop.
So I'm gonna take the one on the left, considering he's left-handed. Maybe you always win.
Well, I guess you won. Bested me. Good show, old friend. Guess I'll ingest this and call it a night. But you know I don't play fair. revealed where the elixir is hiding. You played right into my trap, just like that foolish archer.
Oh, so he's pouring it on the castle through a magical portal.
Yep. Grandpa's life was spared, and our whole family moved to Avalon. The end.
No, Gwendolyn.
What?
It couldn't have ended like that. You know, if I chose that path, it would have destroyed the very castle you are standing in. There was only one solution.
He was out of options. Grandpa looked around at the kingdom he created and realized there was only one choice.
To drink them both?
Grandpa knew the eradicating elixir would slowly destroy him from the inside, but Daventry would live on. That day, Manny was outsmarted in a way he never imagined possible. In a way he could not comprehend.
Huh. Nice move. I'll accept that. But let's see if I can help speed up the effects of that potion. You pushed a thinking man to brute force. I hope you're happy.
You've already won. There's no need to torture him.
It was at that moment, while his body was being jerked through the air, that Mordak was reminded of his first encounter with Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, that was his first encounter. In Chapter 2.
Those memories stirred up something fierce inside Mordak. Manny didn't save him from a life of goblin abuse. Grandpa did. And it was time he repaid the favor.
Leave him be. I won't ask you again.
I guess it's time I held your tongue.
Manny's enchantments over the castle were broken, and he was never heard from again. Daventry continues to thrive and prosper, thanks to the sacrifices made by King Grandpa, the greatest grandpa to have ever lived. Is he still...
Oh, yes. He heard every word.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. That suits you well.
It was beautiful. You kids have always brought so much joy to your grandfather.
All of his children have.
All right, kiddos, it's bedtime. Say goodnight to Grandpa, and I'll tuck you in.
Good night, Grandpa.
I love you.
I love you too, God. And I am proud of you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I just want to say you're the best grandpa and my favorite person in the world. I love you. And I'm so sorry you didn't get your last adventure.
Sweetheart, there is nothing to be sorry about. I now know that all of my adventures will live on forever inside of me. As long as you keep telling my stories, they will never die.
Thanks for sharing them with me, Grandpa. I love you.
I love you too, dear. Go get some rest. Wake me in the morning, and we can make some pancakes.
Now, I would argue he didn't actually tell all his stories to Gwendolyn. So she can't actually tell all of his tales. Not sure all his tales were real, or any of them, really.
Grandpa.
And see, now I'm playing as Gwendolyn. And see, this might just be the epilogue part right here. And it just jumped right into it. Where we could just see what happens. Here we have the tapestry that looks like the original King's Quest game. Does she have anything in her inventory? No. In a weird way, I suppose this is a way you could try to have the King's Quest series continue without really spending the effort to remake the originals, but I think you're putting the cart before the horse really badly in this plan. I don't think people who played this are going to want to play a King's Quest 2 starring Gwendolyn, who clearly would have to be a lot older, or at least moderately older, as old as Graham was at the beginning. And see, I could heavily imagine that these tapestries would be different. Like if it seems like you could have easily not befriended the bridge trolls, for example. This obviously, well, this could have been the same no matter what, because this is, I doubt the children change if you choose a different mother. And see, this might be the replacement for the end screen with all the stickers unlocked. Is King Graham the Compassionate at his oldest. Here's him with Valenice. Let's see, I'm walking pretty slowly. I would argue this costume setup, if you were going to continue a costume setup like this, probably longer pants as she's older, it is thematically pretty good if we were going to see a sequel starring her. I wouldn't mind a sequel starring her. It would just have to be made by somebody who could make a better game, write a better game, have more funding, not do it episodically. Here's his starshroom pie recipe, telling us that we picked the baker. I was a little afraid blowing the candle out might in the game right there. This desperately needs a run button. It's really weird because when you think of like Broken Sword 3 or 4 as a point-and-click adventure in a 3D environment, those are games that were made 7, maybe 10 years ago, and they have faster, better interaction than what this has. Those are apparently amendments. You gotta put the crown on? So he had to have passed away just that night because there wouldn't be candles still burning. Honestly, most candles wouldn't even last a night. And here we're going to read a note.
My sweetheart Gwendolyn, when you read this letter, you'll already know about the crown I have left for you and why. Please don't worry about me. I lived a long, fulfilling life, and I wouldn't change one decision. I've led this kingdom with all the compassion in my heart, and I've seen that same love in your eyes. But I would never force upon you rules and addenda to protect my legacy. You must make your own decisions. I only share my stories in the hope that they would help you down whichever path you choose for Daventry. Go forth and be Queen Gwendolyn the Compassionate, or the Patient, or the Dragon Slayer. Just know that I will always be watching over you and kissing your forehead from the stars above.
Again, the adventuring cap, more important than the crown. So that was 17 minutes of almost completely cutscenes. I could have, had I known that we were at the very last puzzle, I could have just run long last recording. Major problems though. You've probably heard them by this point, but let's just recap. There's a considerable number of people that worked on this game, and yet the writing, the story is just a mess. It skips over so much. The gameplay design is a mess. It doesn't speak of anybody knowing what they're doing to make a video game. In general, not even a point-and-click adventure game. Sure, I would have preferred if this was just consistently a point-and-click adventure game. I wouldn't have even been upset with 5 chapters, because chapters often do help point-and-click adventure games work together and be a little bit easier to play. But I don't even know what to call this game because it changes so drastically. In chapter 4, we spend so much time doing line puzzles, it's a line puzzle game. In chapter 2, we spend so much time resource managing so we don't starve people. It becomes a resource management game. The producer for chapter 1 and 2 and 3, where's producer for 4, 5, and 5 in the epilogue? I don't even know. I don't know why we're getting credits that don't even mention that. There's probably too many fingers in this pie looking at all of the people that are listed, but also a lot of these people that are listed might very well have not done too much on the game. If they're listing their IT departments and their like advertising departments and CEOs and things, how many people actually cared about this project? How many people actually worked on this project? How many people really wanted to do anything with it? It really does feel like The Odd Gentleman got a license to a game that Activision didn't really care about, and then used it to teach themselves to make a Unreal game better. They wasted so much budget that should have been placed in different places, and this is certainly Monday morning quarterbacking on my part. But I really, really did not enjoy the vast majority of this game. And it would have been so easy to do it right. Comparing this to The Secret of Monkey Island, which I just recently played, remastered. I would have much preferred a remastered version that just had us do the exact same things with new graphics. If that's all they were going to do, it would have worked so much better. Let me play King's Quest 1, which has 160 actions, 160 points you get through like 20 actions. Actually, I just looked at a walkthrough to play King's Quest 1, and it does look like you only have to do 20 actions or so. So maybe if they just put voice acting on the old game and made the system work a little bit better, I would have been happier with that than this. They just kind of used the name. This is like one of those movies where when they make video game movies like Doom, starring The Rock, it's like, that's not really a movie that has anything to do with Doom. It's just an action movie that uses the name. That's what this game feels like. This really isn't King's Quest in any real sense. It's just the same characters and the same names, which wouldn't be terrible if they wanted to tell a consistent, cogent, coherent, if I can use 3 C words in a row, if they wanted to tell a story, a complete story, 4 C words somehow in a row, that would have been fine. But a lot of it at least, boils down to starting your project saying something is going to be early access or episodic. Either one. Because you're starting your game knowing you have no intention of finishing the game by the time you release it for sale. By the time Chapter 1 was for sale, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5 were not finished. They were not available. They were still working on it. It's not a good business practice. If they had just waited a year, taken what they had made for the first 5 chapters and said, let's get this all mixed together in the best way we can, which is what you do when making a movie. You shoot footage out of order all the time, and then you go into editing and spend 6 more months in editing. They're trying, in episodic video game making, they're trying to take the editing out or rush through it in a strange way. Seems like maybe they might have paid different authors to write different parts of the story too, because chapter 2 is completely just like a 180 from chapter 1. And let's see, is there even a chapter 5 gallery? No, you don't even get to see anything. We could have made a chapter 5 gallery. Let's see. It would have been, did you recover all the things? I think you had to. Did you get all 4 of the keys? Certainly you probably had to. Who did you see at the end when you were hallucinating? That could have been a stamp. They just didn't bother. And so if we look at the save file, that's chapter 5. Now let's go into the epilogue, because I don't think we've actually played that. So let's see what the epilogue does. This isn't gonna be much, I can tell you already.
It was my first solo trip away from home. I was well practiced within the safety of the castle walls. But today, my feather was gonna get its first real notch. Every good adventure seeker knows to be prepared, and I most definitely am.
So I'm gonna take the rainbow.
Acorn's legendary adventuring rope. Check.
Interesting, I'm gonna pick up everything, I guess.
A Chaka's bow that Grandpa used on many a quest. Check. Who knows what danger lurks out here. Trusty hatchet. Check.
Now,
Well, I guess that's it. Alright, Yarble Snoofs. Come out, wherever you are. I need that tracking badge.
so I wouldn't be surprised if this is it. I just walk through here, and that's the end. See, I don't even have the bow in my inventory. Wow, I guess that is true. We've been playing the whole game with a bow in our inventory, and it didn't even tell us.
What? A queen still needs to develop new and important skills. You can always be better. Yeah. Okay, that was pretty good.
Honestly,
These must be Yarble Snoof tracks.
why not just have the whole game start here? Like, since you really didn't care about the King's Quest Legacy, why not do a quick 5-minute cutscene and start the game just starring Gwendolyn?
These prints are all over the castle stables. So, definitely Snoot tracks.
So I'm gonna go this way, I guess. Like, I don't know what you're gonna get from this, in all honesty. Just a cutscene or two. Looking and following tracks. So, do I need to hatchet my way? Let's see if the adventuring rope.
I don't think so. I think these will work.
So I think I'm gonna make a trap with leaves. And I've stopped looking at the path.
And there's the Yarble Snoof. They're said to be quite elusive, but I'm guessing everyone found them annoying and chose not to bring them to town.
It's like a turkey. Let's see.
Nope. Moon. Logic. Round peg. Square hole.
Moon logic
Like I'm repeating myself.
is a phrase that they use to call ridiculous solutions out. Or ridiculous solutions to point-click adventures.
These are nature's adventuring ropes.
So can I just tie him up? Nope.
Why are they so obsessed with keeping their heads in the dark?
So one last puzzle, I suppose.
Why are they so obsessed with keeping their heads in the dark?
I guess I'm not going to complain too much to have a little bit more gameplay here. Again, we can see a great example of a waste of production value to make the epilogue have this element that...
Of course! Sugar shrooms!
So they like to eat sugar shrooms? There's a lot of animation, a lot of extra work that's been put into this epilogue, which one would hope you got for free. Now, would it make any sense to play the epilogue without playing the rest of the game? Moderately well, I suppose. I mean, it would work. It would not be as
Never seen these
amazing.
Well, what else is out here?
Well, that looks like a bear to me. No path here. Seems like there would be a path there. So, why is this not in chapter 3 in particular? If you want to just pick a random chapter that didn't have enough gameplay and it was full of some major contrivances, chapter 3 would be a good one to pick.
Sorry about the trouble, little one.
See, I just don't know how much.
To have the perfect spring for my trap.
So let's go ahead and try that.
This looks to have the perfect spring for my trap.
So now I just need some sugar shrooms. Why? Why was this not in the game somewhere? Because it wasn't finished. That's just the answer. This is episodic gaming development at its absolute worst.
Did I leave these footprints? I don't remember walking here before.
Like, the sad thing here is you'd have to reboot or remake King's Quest again from this point. And the only positive thing I would think Activision might take from this is, well, this made enough money that possibly this sold enough and made enough sales and made enough money that they would think about making a remake for cell phones of the King's Quest series and making a reboot for consoles and things like that. But they'd have to start all over again. Possibly not with the artwork.
All over the castle stables. So definitely snoot tracks.
You could use these graphics a little bit, I suppose. Some of the work like that.
I was at a loss for what to do. And then I remembered. I was a 4th-ranked Wetzel Wolf Scout. I needed to slow down and observe what was around me.
Interesting cutscene in the middle of the gameplay. That's actually a really cool idea. I'm sad that it wasn't actually in the game more.
And here we find the snoot.
So,
Scout guide says he can leap nearly 30 feet in the air.
so this is a snoot. We hadn't even seen these before, I don't think, in the game, and yet they expected us to know what they were, because
Grandma always warned me about the stomping tendencies of snoots, but I'd never seen it in action. I wonder if I could get them to stomp somewhere else.
maybe, maybe not. I don't think I'm gonna die in this. There's so many things to walk around here.
Food for a small animal. That won't work. Round peg, square hole. Do I seem like I'm repeating myself?
And getting too close will get you just stomped. So oops. A little too easy to trigger that. I feel like the game is just teasing me now, though, with this epilogue. Who cares? Like, literally, it boils down to that. Who cares if this epilogue is amazing and really fun and plays great? It doesn't change the previous 5 chapters. It doesn't remove the frustration of those previous chapters. Let's see, I'm hoping I can use the grapes.
And now we wait and hide.
Yeah, I think I've done everything. We've got
Let me cut you down.
we got the, I don't remember what this was called.
Got you. Now, just hop into my hood and we'll be on our way.
So I now have a badger. So those were just called badgers. And now I think I can use the badgers to... Do I have the adventuring rope still? Yes. Let's put the badger in here and see what it does. Nothing.
Okay. I need to find a way to get those sugar shrooms.
So maybe the badger gets the snoots to leave. Let's just double check that we don't put the badger here and
That won't work.
that was it.
I don't think so.
Nope. Okay. Even though this is kind of a simplistic point-and-click adventure puzzle, it's still more than what we got in a lot of sections of the main game. And I'm surprised. We kind of went from the end of Chapter 5 and the credits taking only about 20 minutes to now we're approaching 40 minutes. Let's see, Badger, will you get rid of them? I wonder if that was supposed to be like a honey badger don't care meme. And that makes a adjustable shortcut to make it easier. That was thought out. And it broke this tree.
Okay. I need to find a way to get those sugar shrooms.
Let's try the bananas. Just start hitting it with your hatchet. Okay. You'll convince the guy to leave pretty quickly if you start banging on the outside of it with a hatchet. I would think.
Okay. I need to find a way to get those sugar shrooms. Okay. I need to find a way to get those sugar shrooms.
I don't know how this is gonna work. Perhaps he's not gonna pay attention on this side.
I probably need some help to get those sugar shrooms.
Well, what do I give? What would I give to?
I've seen these tracks before.
Maybe there's
What
a
else is out here?
animal back here. I can chop down the bushes. Where else would I use the bananas? Oh, I put a banana here. Ah, and then this guy comes over here and stomps it. An even more violent solution than what I was proposing. We should be done pretty soon now. He's got your adventuring rope.
Yes! Sugar shrooms!
I'd take more than that, but okay. And so there shouldn't be much more here. I think I just put this here. We'll see what happens. You can see his face clipping through the wood. Honestly, I think the art style's not that good though, so even if you were going to reboot King's Quest, I feel like you could only go so far before you would have to remake everything. So is she just gonna grab one of these characters? Just grab it. Just grab it.
These are nature's adventuring ropes.
Okay, so they're protecting the vines. So I need to come over here and do this. And then while that guy's walking over there. I need to get some more adventuring ropes.
These are nature's adventuring ropes.
Repeated dialogue here. I may not have time to cut it down. This game is intentionally being annoying. That's an odd way for a vine to fall. Alright. Now, over here.
I don't think so.
See this piece of wood. Is there another piece of wood? Maybe I could...
I couldn't remember exactly what Yarble Snoofs like to eat, but I was sure it was in this forest.
Can I use this?
I couldn't remember exactly what Yarble Snoofs like to eat, but I was sure it was in this
Do I really need to go all the way back to the place where I made the first trap? Let's see. This... I'm a little confused here. It feels like I should have... And this... This... Let's come over here and use this. No, there's nothing I can do over here. Fine, let's run back this direction and see if it really is a case that they want me to go back to where I made the first trap and trap them again. That seems really ridiculous, but whatever. There's been a massive amount of ridiculousness in this game. And this time we put this here.
And now we wait and hide.
We'll see if this works.
Got you. Now, just hop into my hood and we'll be on our way. What are you doing in there? I can help. You got yourself into this mess, not me. I was just catching Yarble Snoofs. Yeah.
Is this another
Now,
Achaka?
I'll just shoot you down instead of using my hatchet.
Tap that A button.
Almost.
Stampede.
Shrekky? Wait. Dragon? Achaka. You know Achaka? Achaka.
Yeah, it's Achakas. Bigger problem here.
It's Achakas. He was a friend of the family. Shrekky Morta Achaka. Taskia Morta Shrekky. Morta?
So do I hit X or do I hit B? I don't even know what I'm choosing. I guess I saved the... Mr. Fancy Pants. Fancy cakes. I've been calling them the wrong thing. So now it's turned into this chase sequence. I wasn't thinking that we would meet anybody else from Achaka's region. And I'm not sure if they ever helped him. And they're just watching your grandmother and your father. We never meet your mother. Let's see. I don't have time to pull out an inventory item, it seems. Like, how about throw some of this? This. None of this works. Okay. So am I gonna climb? There's no way to run. So I need to just maintain the speed. And as soon as I see something I can interact with on the outer edge, hit it. So I guess I go full circle before, and then next time I see it I try an item on it. And we're right back to all the problems with this game and Sierra games in general. Just death sequence after death sequence after death sequence. Alright, let's see. This. And will that get the other creatures involved? So I could see like two girls from two different lands. Gwendolyn and this new girl working together. In their next adventure that will never happen. And I could be the wiser of the two and the other one could be and the girl that doesn't talk could be the less wise of the two. Or the more action focused. Would probably be the better way of putting it. And let's see. Let's go ahead and chop down this tree. I'm very surprised this went an hour. Very, very surprised. The epilogue is almost close to what probably some of the chapter links should have been. I wonder if Mr. Fancy Cake rips off people like his owner did.
Oh, right, shoot. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can do this. I can do this. I can't do this. You got this. Come on. Almost there.
Tap that A button.
Keep going.
Wow. 3 shots missed. And I screwed up. I was too busy pressing the A button. And see, this must be a baby dragon because his eyes are perfectly fine.
That was amazing. We just defeated a twirling, whirling, gaggle of Jarblesnoos and the most menacing dragon I have ever seen. Well, it was the first dragon I've ever seen, but we did it. I can't believe I had to use a Chaka's bow. Are we dueling archers now? I don't want to duel you. I just think you're much better than me. But we can be super friendly archers. I didn't think I could make the shot. I've never been able to.
She just made the symbol of a gun in a world that doesn't have guns with her fingers.
This is the best adventure ever, and I'm still gonna get my Wetzel Wolf Scout patch. And now I have a new best friend, and this is the best. Oh, sorry. I get a bit excited when it comes to adventure. Afanata. I'm Queen Gwendolyn, granddaughter of King Grim, the Compassionate. Taskia. Achaka. Grand. Oh, Achaka was your grandfather. Well, my grandfather gave this to me. But without Achaka, I wouldn't be here. It belongs to you. Really? Afanata.
I'm glad I brought hugging to Daventry.
I hope we adventure again soon, Taskia. Maybe with less Shrekkies. Shrekky! No, it's fine. I don't think it meant to cause any harm. It's not even the same dragon. See? It's just hungry. A pet dragon.
So for Roberta, Ken, John, and all the storytellers, epilogue created by the Odd Gentleman, Lindsay Rosto, producer, writer, design. That was fine. Hopefully fewer people worked on this small section. So if you'd gone with the idea of doing 10 chapters instead of 5 and kept them small like that, it would have worked better. It would have worked a lot better. It gets a little close to maybe a Looney Tune cartoon where they only go 12 minutes or so. But still not too bad. We still found ways to get confused and not solve the puzzles immediately. There's most definitely parts of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 that could have been broken up into their own separate acts. And if it was just all one game, and you're not limiting yourself immediately by saying there must be 5 chapters because we must sell 5 parts of this game to all the players, that certainly makes for a different perspective as you're developing the game. See, I could easily have seen the epilogue section involving puzzles, involving actions, involving story that would have just been in Chapter 5. In fact, even Chapter 5 is a little short. So I could definitely get why they may have wanted to do that. Ultimately, though, I can't help but feel like this was a big bait and switch too. As I said before, I've heard other video game reviewers complain about this game just drastically not being as good as the first chapter. I can confirm that. The first chapter really, really interesting. It got me very happy to play this game, and by the end, I don't think I'd ever want to play it again. to see the different endings or different outcomes. I don't think I would want to waste the time to try to get all the achievements. So achievements are always just harmful to video games anyways, because they make you spend time playing the game in ways you wouldn't have any to begin with. So yeah, the quality just does not hold up. It plummets in Chapter 2. Chapter 3 is alright. Then Chapter 4 is pretty bad again. I wouldn't say Chapter 4 is as bad. It's slightly better than Chapter 2. And then Chapter 5 is better than probably Chapter 2 and 3 and 4, but still nowhere as good as Chapter 1. And then this epilogue part, I would say, is pretty good for what it is, for its length. In a weird way, it's probably even better than Chapter 1 because they worked within a smaller scope and told a simpler tale. And they didn't waste a lot of time putting in cutscenes, which is half of this game. It almost makes me wonder if this was a troubled development. Was this game in development for 5 years? And they just had to say, we can't go any further, we'll just put a bunch of cutscenes in sections. I couldn't believe that to be true, though, because the cutscenes we do see don't seem like parts of the game that would have any interaction either way. Anyways, I think it's more of a case of the people making the game just don't know how to make video games. Instead, they know how to tell stories. And maybe that's the problem with King's Quest. Maybe the people that made the original King's Quest game, which were mostly just stories and with very little interaction, maybe they just are too old. I have seen this as a problem where old people that made point-and-click adventure games, old DOS games, they become the CEOs of businesses. You have Gabe Newell, who worked on like Half-Life 1 and all of that, and now he's the CEO of Valve and probably doesn't program anything ever. You have the CEO of Double Fine in a similar situation. A lot of the people who run companies nowadays are just out of the loop, and so they don't know how to program in the new Unreal Engine version. They don't know how to make modern games because they are from such a long time ago. Like, I'm even surprised this uses Bing Video. That's not something I see too much of these days. Every game used to use Bing Video if it had any video in it. But this is weird. It says Activision makes no guarantees of online play. There's no online play in this game. That is very weird. And we get a little picture that we very well may never get to see again of Gwendolyn. Like, gallery. Yeah, you don't ever get to see that picture again. Thanks, game. That's so nice. And save slot now. Epilogue 100% done. Can't look at the achievements. We've gone just about 4 minutes over an hour. It's such a shame. I think I'll just leave it at that. You've heard my complaints. You've seen the game. I started off so happy, and it really pulled the rug out from under me. I'm not sure I can really recommend anybody play this. King's Quest people that are fans, maybe play this game and see how you feel about it. Let me know in the comments if you've played the originals and if this feels more in line with the story and I'm wrong about it skipping major parts and major elements of the story, which it has to be. It clearly is skipping major elements. If this game was just a remake of King's Quest 1, that's all it really needed to be. It didn't need to kill King Graham. It didn't need to introduce Gwendolyn. It didn't need to do any of that. In fact, what you could have done is done the first 5 chapters as just a remake of King's Quest 1. Then do an epilogue where you play as Gwendolyn, and she's not even introduced. You still could have done the same thing. It wouldn't have been anywhere as impactful, but if you just wanted to get to Queen Gwendolyn, which they did go with Queen, even though she should, by all rights, be king. That's what the addendum read. You could have just, if you wanted her to be the character, you could have just introduced her as the character. That's it. Or you could have just redone King's Quest to begin with and had it been Gwendolyn from the beginning and just said, in the reboot, we wanted to play as a different character, so it's not going to be Graham, it's going to be Gwendolyn. That would have worked too. I like the ideas of the story they tried to tell, but the implementation is awful. That's it for this series. Let me know what you think. I'm not superly passionate about hating it, but I'm not really liking it either. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell next to the subscribe button to get notifications. Comment and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me with YouTube and tells them that my videos are worth watching. If you want to friend or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description. That gives you a backup to know when my videos are available for viewing. And if you browse to my playlist tab on my YouTube page, I have playlists for every other game I've ever covered, and I'm sure you can find something that interests you. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.